Chapter 81 He and I runs away with the ball. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ruyan had a world-weary face, her little face was still a little blushing, and she said angrily, in broad daylight, under the bright sky, you are shameless and shameless. These two people are so morally corrupt that they don't know how to restrain themselves at all. Oh, Qing chuckled lightly, with a nonchalant look on his face. It was just a kiss. What's there to be ashamed of? Without arguing with her, Qing secretly looked at he and I from the corner of his eye. The latter looked calm and ethereal, as if what happened just now had never happened. That's weird. Qing muttered to himself, I don't understand why he and I suddenly pretended to be a Taoist couple with him and didn't react when he kissed her. Could it be that his charm is so great that it can confuse a strong person with the mind of an immortal emperor? He and I didn't expect you to be so depraved. Yang Jie's voice was faint and full of emotion. Her old rival has completely fallen, she is no longer the aloof sword fairy goddess with a firm heart and only the supreme road in her heart. If this news spreads, it is estimated that the entire eternal universe will be in riots, because he and I is the white moonlight, idol, and belief in the hearts of countless swordsmen and immortal immortals. How many immortal giants have waited thousands of years under the mountain just to catch a glimpse of He's peerless style? If they knew that he and I had become a Taoist couple with a mortal aunt, they would definitely go crazy and hunt down Qing all over the universe, right? Ignorant and foolish woman. He and I smiled disdainfully. How could Yang Jie understand her shocking plan? Her mind was full of filth, and she disdained to be associated with it. Thinking about it, he and I said softly, let's go. Qing frowned slightly, feeling that he and I was too abnormal. When something goes wrong, there must be a monster. Qing followed her. He wanted to see what he and I wanted to do, but before leaving, Qing asked the system to check Ruyan's attribute data. Name, Ruyan, realm, the third level of divine sea realm, physique, divine and demonic body, the origin is missing and is growing again, 5%, talent, born with Taoism, it shines through the ages, destiny the daughter of destiny, good fortune is in the sky, fate is full of misfortunes, and good fortune and misfortune depend on each other, luck 200000. After reading the attributes of Emperor Ruyan, Qing couldn't help but glance at the hollow willow, really hammered. Ruyan took the template of being arbitrary and eternal. You are born with great luck and countless opportunities, but your life is full of misfortunes. There are many disasters in your life, and every gain must be accompanied by crises. Qing, I really want to become a Taoist partner with you, are you willing? In the holy formation, he and I had already arranged a palace. She brought Qing into the room and asked nervously. Qing, no. Did he and I really fall in love with him? And the straight shot was too straight, it's hard for Qing to understand. He and I, do you mind if I have a Taoist companion? Qing couldn't help but ask. Don't mind. Then let's try dating for a while. Good. Hearing Qing's promise, He's eyes were bright and lively, and her snow-white and delicate skin turned red. What a nice view. Qing stretched out his hand to touch her perfect cheek and looked at her pink lips. The soft and fragrant feeling immediately filled his heart. Qing's expression was filled with lust, and he kissed her without hesitation, frantically demanding, and sometimes gentle and caring. Well. He's mind went blank, and the feeling of powerlessness came over her again. TSK, why don't you know how to take a breather? Qing's eyes were full of smiles. He and I, who has lived for countless years, turned out to be a little loser. He and I leaned on his chest, panting, her clear and bright eyes full of shyness and expectation. Although I am very nervous, but in order to have offspring, this nervousness is nothing. Thinking about it, he and I ran her fingers across Qing's strong chest, as if a burst of electricity passed through. Xiao Pekai, you can't breathe even after being taught so many times. Qing patted her somewhere, his eyes filled with smiles. He and I, who looks as cold as a fairy, cold and arrogant, can be so stupid. She is sweet and soft, a little silly and cute. He and I rolled her eyes, turned over, stuck her butt out, and was too lazy to talk to Qing. She felt her belly and almost cried with joy. 3 days, 3 whole days, Zai finally fell into her belly. What's wrong? Gu Qing saw that she was not in a good mood and couldn't help but ask. He frowned slightly, always feeling that he was hiding something from him. It was really too sudden from he by, and without any resistance. Let him do what he did. It's okay. You can smelt these monsters. I'll be of great use to them. He handed over all the monsters and various elixirs collected during this period to Gu Qing. She caressed her flat belly, her excitement palpable. After an in-depth exchange with Gu Qing, she learned that Gu Qing not only possessed the divine body of Zhou Tianqing which contained the origin of chaos, he also possesses thin black and yellow immortal blood. This is a physique even rarer than the Xuanhuan holy body. It has long disappeared in ancient times. Even the immortal king with the Xuanhuan holy body cannot condense the Xuanhuan immortal blood. More importantly, Xuanhuan's immortal blood is easily passed on to the next generation. So much. Gu Qing's consciousness swept away and he was surprised. There are hundreds of thousands of demonic beasts in the Void Realm and several hundred in the King Realm. There are 30 in the Venerable Realm, 10 in the Saint Realm, and 3 demon gods in the Divine Fire Realm. In addition, there are more than a dozen holy medicines and 2 divine medicines. Has he slaughtered all the demon beasts in the entire ancient world? In addition to the demon beast flesh and blood given by Chu Yao, as well as spiritual medicines, etc. If all are melted out, the treasure liquid can be gathered into a sea. Thinking of this, Gu Qing took out the golden gourd and put it all into melt. In a short while, the treasure liquid containing the essence of the law and full of vitality was melted out. Just a sip made Gu Qing's cells boil. Innate treasure, let me see it. He's eyes were bright, and he was not very surprised. Gu Qing has an endless supply of treasure liquid, and he knows without asking that he must be carrying a treasure. He took the golden gourd, and his powerful spiritual consciousness invaded it, observing the innate law Dao pattern of the golden gourd. The most precious thing about innate treasures is the innate law Dao pattern. If you can comprehend it thoroughly, you will achieve the fruit position of the Great Way. 10 days later, he returned the golden gourd to Gu Qing, and told him how to use the innate treasure. Gu Qing nodded, looking excited. The innate Dao pattern of the golden gourd was very consistent with his Chaos Immortal Sutra. If it weren't for the fact that he had to be at least a saint to comprehend it, Gu Qing would have wanted to hold the golden gourd and go into seclusion immediately. He's beautiful eyes moved, and she said, "You broke through too fast, and your innate magical powers are extremely powerful. It's not good without the tempering of life and death. Why don't we live here for a while and practice the magical powers and Taoism?" Then thank you. Since his debut, he has indeed not met an opponent who can make him go all out, and he has always been crushing. This made Gu Qing himself unclear about how powerful his magical powers were. If he was with him in training, it would be a rare opportunity for him. In this way, Gu Qing lived a fairy life. During the day, he was with him in training, and she preached and answered his questions. With he accompanying him at night, every night was not peaceful. The two of them lived an ordinary and stable life in Liujia village, just like a couple who worked from sunrise to sunset. But the good times did not last long. One night, after teaching, he used a secret method to make Gu Qing fall asleep. Her jade hands gently stroked his angular face, and her eyes were reluctant. "I told you not to become my disciple. Now you know that people are treacherous. Just think of this as a dream." She muttered for a long time, left many magical skills and secrets, as well as her cultivation experience, and ran away with her child. It was 3 days later that Gu Qing woke up. Looking at the magical skills, Gu Qing's face changed slightly. After trying for a long time but failing to contact Tianai, Gu Qing was a little panicked and hurried to find Yang Jie to ask. "Senior Yang, do you know where Tianai went?" "She ascended to the fairyland. 3 days ago, Tianai used a secret method to trigger the Ascension Thunder Tribulation in advance, alarming the entire ancient world." Looking at Gu Qing, whose face turned pale, he asked in confusion, "Didn't she tell you?" Gu Qing shook his head and frowned in thought. Tianai had just become his wife and had lived an ordinary life for 3 months, so why did she suddenly leave without saying goodbye? Could it be that his enemies came to find him and didn't want to implicate him? "Master, what happened to him?" Ruyan came to the willow tree and saw that Gu Qing was absent-minded, so she asked curiously. Chapter 82, The Social Death of Emperor Ruyan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I guess I was deceived. Yang Jie thought for a while and said this. She was also deceived by he and I. He mistakenly thought that he and I had fallen and was addicted to the desires of men and women. Now that she saw he and I leaving without saying goodbye and abandoning Qing, she could not guess that he and I wanted to borrow a seed. She has seen too many situations like this. Many powerful female cultivators want to have offspring, but they don't want a man. So I found some male cultivators with strong talents. Deliberately seduced and coaxed them gently, and after they got pregnant with the child, they left the father to keep the child. Thinking of this, Yang Jie couldn't help but look at the distracted Qing with pity. How pitiful, at such a young age, he was deceived by an old monster. Tragic, too tragic. Ah! Lu Ruyan's beautiful eyes widened, and her firm world view was shattered little by little. What did she hear? A bastard with bad moral character who was deceived by a fairy sister. Impossible, absolutely impossible. He Ni is the same powerful person as Master. He has achieved the state of transcendence and his character is so firm. How could he do something so morally corrupt? Lu Ruyan shook his head crazily, unwilling to believe it. Is it strange? This is not strange at all. Yang Jie's voice was calm and cold. Immortals also have 7 emotions and 6 desires, and it is normal for them to find a male cultivator to relieve their loneliness when they cannot bear the poison of immortality for a while. Back then, the daughter of the Emperor of Heaven made a grand ambition to sleep with all the beautiful men in the world. The main theme is a person who can follow his heart and have clear ideas. No, it won't happen. Sister Fairy is not that kind of person. There must be a misunderstanding here. Lu Ruyan subconsciously defended he and I. Although he and I was Master's mortal enemy and wanted to kill him, he did not implicate this grudge to her. On the contrary, he was very nice to her. In the past few years, he has given her a lot of precious liquids and a phoenix immortality fruit, and also taught her a magical sword skill, so she has always respected he and I. But because of her relationship with her master, she didn't dare to get too close to he and I. You are still young. When you grow older, you will understand the dangers of the world of immortality. Yang Jie chuckled lightly and looked at Qing thoughtfully. Senior. Feeling the hot gaze falling on him, Qing suddenly came back to his senses and looked at the hollow willow in confusion. You have immortal blood, no wonder. Yang Jie suddenly realized, and He's idea of running away with the ball was confirmed in his heart. I didn't use any secret method to check Qing's physique before, I just observed a breath, but now under the observation of Tongshu, Qing's physique can be clearly seen. The mutated Zhudiangxingchen divine body has some chaotic origins, and the immortal and immortal black and yellow blood. This is an invincible physique that only existed in ancient times. He is born with a Tao seed and is destined to achieve the Tao fruition status. No wonder he and I couldn't control it. System, she can't even see my Dao Gu Dao pupils, right? Qing asked nervously. Host, rest assured, the Dao bone has been sealed by me, and no one can tell. All the magic of Dao Tong is in the eyes. As long as she doesn't look at your eyes, they won't be exposed. That's good. Qing breathed a sigh of relief. Bones and eyes are most easily poached in a fantasy world. He didn't want to take the protagonist's path. Thinking about it, Qing said goodbye, returned to the cave, and began to dismantle the formation flag. He Ni has already ascended, and there is no point in him staying here. As for dealing with Lu Ruyan, the immortal Emperor Master is here, and he doesn't want to die young yet. Are you afraid that I will do something bad to you? Seeing that Qing couldn't wait to leave, Yang Jie was speechless. After all, she was also an immortal emperor, so she would not argue with a junior. What's more, she and he and I didn't have any blood feud, it was just a dispute between the great avenues. Ruyan, you go out with him to practice. Lu Ruyan's injury has been stabilized, and staying here will just waste time. If you follow Qing, you may be able to make some fortune. All right. Although Lu Ruyan didn't want to leave with Qing, this was the master's request and there must be a reason. She hurriedly went to see the village chief grandfather and some friends to say goodbye. Grandpa village chief, I'm leaving. Go. The young eagle will always fly high. The old village chief said with a kind face and a smile. Area, Huzi, Gooden. Sister Ruyan. There were several half-grown children, all dirty and dark-skinned. Some of them had runny noses and half of their buttocks exposed. They all gathered around Lu Ruyan, and Area said angrily, "Your parents and sister are so inhuman, they dare to take away your origins. When I grow up, I will help you beat them together. And me. I'll go too." "Good. I will definitely come back." Lu Ruyan sat down on the Thunder Eagle with tears in her eyes, and looked at the simple and kind villagers, her eyes unable to stop her tears from falling. She wiped away tears and waved, vowing that she would come back. Qing looked at Emperor Ruyan silently. The 13-year-old Ruyan emperor is a little crybaby, right? Qing had a thought in his mind and used a photo stone to record Emperor Ruyan. It might be of great use in the future. An hour later, Lu Ruyan stopped crying, and then she realized that there was a morally corrupt bastard next to her who had been watching her silently, and her face suddenly turned red. First he hesitated, bared his teeth and claws, and finally just covered his face. God, how could she be so embarrassed in front of Qing? Emperor Ruyan doesn't want to live anymore. His little body shrank, wishing he could shrink into the belly of the Thunder Eagle. Ha ha ha. Qing was amused by her little appearance. She's dead, Emperor Ruyan is dead. I don't know if Lu Ruyan will be even more dead when she thinks of today's scene thousands of years later. He has kept the evidence. What are you laughing at? You're not allowed to laugh. Lu Ruyan's face flushed red, and she said with her eyes wide open. Okay, I won't laugh anymore. Qing touched his chin and changed the subject. Where are we going next? That he wanted to go back to the central divine realm, but Yang Ye sent a message asking him to take care of Lu Ruyan for a year, and the reward he offered was also very tempting, and he couldn't refuse it at all. Lu Ruyan calmed down, instantly restored her cold and arrogant face, snorted, and turned her head away. She didn't know where to go either. Although she was more mature than her peers and had experienced hardships, she had always stayed in the palace before. When she was brought to Liujia village by the nanny, she was only 7 years old and had never been out. Lu Ruyan wanted to take revenge, but her strength did not allow it. Where is your country? Do you have coordinates? Qing asked. The sky is high and the earth is thick. Without coordinates, it is useless to know the place name. Qing Kingdom, what are coordinates? Lu Ruyan's knowledge is very limited. After all, Liujia village is isolated from the world, and the education level is limited to literacy. Qing explained to her, and then expanded his consciousness to search hundreds of thousands of miles. That's right, Qing's consciousness can sweep hundreds of thousands of miles. Soon, Qing found a large tribe, bought a coordinate, and directly sacrificed the void-flying boat. The Thunder Eagle is only a purple mansion realm monster. By the time it flies to the Qing Empire, it will be cold. Ruyan, can you tell me how your parents were willing to give your origin to your sister? Qing asked curiously. At first, he thought that Lu Ruyan's divine and demonic body origin was taken away by his cousin. After all, even a tiger won't eat its own cubs. Moreover, since it is not one's own origin, it is difficult for the other party to exert its mysteries, and its potential is ultimately limited. No matter from which angle you consider it, you shouldn't take the origin of your own daughter and give it to another daughter, unless it is not your own daughter. Chapter 83. Doesn't your conscience hurt? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who is your sister? Seeing Lu Ruyan's cold, world-weary face remaining silent, Qing continued to ask. She's a demon. When he heard the word sister, memories that had been deliberately forgotten suddenly flooded into Lu Ruyan's mind. His face turned pale and his body trembled slightly, as if he was a wounded animal. Seeing this, Qing couldn't ask any more questions. I just became more curious. What kind of existence could make Emperor Ruyan so scared when he heard his name? Looks like another vicious villain. Thinking about it, Qing changed the subject. Do you want to join the Star Temple? That is the sect where I am. The Temple of Stars has been inherited from ancient times. It has countless magical skills and secrets, and countless treasures of heaven and earth. How to join? Lu Ruyan swallowed her rejection and asked eagerly. She does not lack magical skills and secret techniques, and she does not need the guidance of a strong person to practice. In addition, she hates all the big forces in the world. so she doesn't want to join any sect and has long thought of becoming a casual cultivator, but, if it was the Star Temple, she couldn't refuse it at all. Just let me introduce you. I'm going to be in seclusion for a while, and I'll leave it to you to control the flying boat. Gu Qing threw the coordinates to her. Such a good tool would go to waste if he is not used. It is impossible for him to be a bodyguard for others. He has given him so many magical skills and secret techniques, and by integrating them all, his foundation will reach a new level. Good. Ruyan happily took it, put it into the flying boat control console, and performed various operations. Although she is precocious, she is still a little girl. Seeing such an advanced flying magic weapon, Ruyan flew around excitedly. After flying for a day, Ruyan looked tired and suddenly came back to his senses after the excitement. That's not right. Didn't Master ask Gu Qing to take care of me? Why does it feel like I'm taking care of him? Ruyan's little face wrinkled together. It takes a lot of effort to control the flying boat, and after joining the Star Temple, Gu Qing will definitely no longer have to take care of her. Thinking of this, Ruyan shook his head, feeling that he had thought too much, was suspicious, and looked like a bad person to everyone. Gu Qing probably realized that she liked Feijo, so he let her control it. Joining the Star Temple would be of great benefit to her. Maybe it could allow her to regenerate her divine and demonic body. In the retreat room, Gu Qing calmly understood the exercises given by he and I. The levels are all very high, and there are even several Taoist scriptures at the Immortal King level. Gu Qing's eyes were filled with endless visions, and he quickly deduced the Tao Sutra and merged it with the Chaos Immortality Sutra. The soul is sitting in the 9-color soul lotus, and the 9-color divine light illuminates the entire Z mansion, exuding a mysterious Taoist charm. The power of the soul and the realm of the physical body are rapidly improving. Time passed by, and half a month passed in the blink of an eye. Gu Qing integrated all the skills into the Chaos Immortal Sutra, and his realm broke through to the second level of the King's realm. System, bring up my properties panel. Name, Gu Qing. Realm, the second level of the King's realm. Physique, Supreme Tao Bone, Chaos Star Body, Tao Pupil, Xuanhuan Immortal Blood, 2%. Talent, born with Taoism, it shines through the ages. Fate Variable, Fate Unknown, Luck, 773,000, Natural Magical Power, Chaos Aquarius Seal, Yin and Yang Wheel, Star Picking Hand, Chaos Return to Ruins Sword Technique, Star Finger, Star Fighting Divine Fist, Divine Prison. Supernatural Power, Destroy the 8 Desolations, Shao Qing, Space Shift, Shao Qing, and the Divine Eye of Reincarnation, Magic Weapon, Samsara Halberd, Golden Gourd, Black and Yellow Beads, Space Divine Pattern, Sunglasses, Cosmic Tower, Void Flying Boat, Associated Rare Treasure Disaster Black Dragon, Exotic Fire, Heart of Ice and Fire, Innate Spiritual Root, 9-color Soul Lotus. Exercise Chaos Immortality Sutra. A few months have passed and not much has changed. Gu Qing suddenly understood the saying cultivation is difficult, but it is difficult to reach the sky. In the past, he would have been able to continuously break through to a major level within a few months. However, now it can only break through a small realm, which can only be regarded as a slight improvement. This is only the King's realm. To reach the Venerable realm or the Saint realm, it will probably take years to break through a small realm. Thinking about it, Gu Qing swallowed a huge amount of spiritual liquid. Spiritual liquid is smelted with spiritual stones. Although it is not as good as precious liquid, it is definitely the best cultivation resource in the world. Gu Qing used the special characteristics of his own physique to build an inner circumference, run the Chaos Immortal Sutra, perform 2 tasks at once, and steadily improve his cultivation level. This method of constantly improving one's cultivation was created by him and he and I. Although it is not as good as practicing in seclusion with all your strength, it is half as effective, which is already very impressive. Gu Qing walked out of the retreat room and saw Ruyan and lying sickly on the console, their eyes dim and extremely weak. What's wrong with you? Gu Qing asked in confusion. You still have the nerve to say it. Seeing Gu Qing's rosy complexion and high spirits, Ruyan suddenly became furious. After the spiritual stones stored in the void flying boat were used up, she and Thunder Eagle fought hard to control it with their cultivation. Gu Qing, on the other hand, has been enjoying a comfortable retreat to improve his cultivation. Qing accepted Yang Jie's benefits and took care of her like this? It's a pity that she's only in the divine sea realm. Qing squeezes her like this, doesn't his conscience hurt? If she hadn't been afraid of disturbing Qing's retreat, she would have violently knocked on the door. I see. After listening to Ruyan's complaints, Qing smiled casually and threw 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones to her. This. Ruyan's eyes widened, and her little heart beat wildly. 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones. As we all know, the exchange ratio of spirit stones is 10 to 1, but when it comes to top-grade spiritual stones, there is a gap between quality and quantity. The spiritual power of the best spiritual stone is pure and flawless, can be absorbed directly, and contains a spiritual charm. Like a panacea, it is very helpful for breakthroughs. Of course, I am talking about low-level monks here, but it is enough to illustrate the preciousness of the best spiritual stones. 10,000 high-grade spiritual stones cannot be exchanged for one top-grade spiritual stone. Qing gets 100,000 as soon as he makes a move. Isn't she dreaming? Not enough. Qing chuckled lightly and threw her another 100,000 top-quality spiritual stones. Is it enough? Enough is enough. Ruyan nodded hurriedly, put the 2 storage rings into her bag, and her resentment disappeared. I thought to myself, how could someone like Qing exploit her? Gao Gui must be so used to it that he never thought of such a trivial matter. Thinking about it, Ruyan's spiritual consciousness probed into the storage ring again to confirm the authenticity. After watching for a while, she hesitated to speak, and finally couldn't help but ask, do you have a lot of spirit stones? Do all the disciples of the Star Temple have so many spirits? Of course not. I haven't taken a single spiritual stone from the Star Temple. That. Snatched. Ah. Ruyan was shocked. Isn't Qing a big devil who brought trouble to the world? What are you thinking about? Qing pinched her baby face and said with a smile, the world is like this, the weak eat the strong, and the strong are respected. Obviously, I am the strong one. Is 200,000 top-quality spiritual stones a lot? It is indeed a huge sum of money, and ordinary holy places may not be able to get it, but to him, it was just drizzle, and he had as much as he wanted. When he is strong enough, he says that the world is his, and no one dares to object. Back then, the Chu family directly gave him the flesh and blood of all the monsters for a god-level skill. If they could be exchanged for spiritual stones, the amount would be countless. But god-level skills are simply not worth so many spiritual stones. However, some things cannot be measured by ordinary things. Even though the Chu family already had god-level skills, they still chose to trade. This is the importance of strength. As long as you have enough strength, the whole world is yours. Oh. Ruyan slapped Qing's big hand away and nodded in understanding. You should recover your cultivation first. Qing gave her a few more bottles of top-quality pills. Gudong. Qing, how about I become your disciple? Ruyan was completely shocked by Qing's generosity. It wasn't until this moment that she saw clearly that the super golden thigh was right next to her. Moreover, Qing is in the realm of kings. If placed in the Holy Land, he could become an elder. To accept her as a disciple was a blessing for her. As for Yang Jie, when she left, she was allowed to meet a suitable strong man who could become his disciple, and she was not allowed to mention anything about her. It's a beautiful thought. It's okay to use something you don't like to make friends with Ruyan, but if you want to accept a disciple, you have to bring out good things and teach with all your heart. What's the difference between this and having a father? He wouldn't take on a disciple anyway. If you have that time, you might as well have an extra wife. Okay. Ruyan's eyes flashed with disappointment. He swallowed a pill for laying and took one himself, and his cultivation quickly recovered. Qing invested 10 billion high-grade spiritual stones, controlled the flying boat, and soon arrived at the border city of the Qing Empire. Go and buy a coordinate map of the eastern region. I'll wait for you here. The world is too big. Without a coordinate map, I don't know where to fly. Ruyan, why does the little servant feel a sense of déjà vu? Illusion, must be an illusion. Ruyan shook her head and Yukong left the flying boat. as soon as he entered the city, Lu Ruyan put on a cold and arrogant world-weary face, and looked around curiously, finding everything new and strange. He looks aloof and cute at the same time. Second princess. On the city wall, a middle-aged monk looked at the spiritual compass in his hand, trembling with excitement. He took a closer look at Lu Ruyan's appearance, and it was indeed Lu Ruyan, just like when he was 7 years old. His appearance is almost proportionally enlarged. Moreover, the spiritual weapon compass has the aura of Lu Ruyan, and the two match perfectly. Thinking of this, the middle-aged monk immediately passed Lu Ruyan's image to Lu Ruyi's men. Finally found you, my good sister. In the palace, Lu Ruyi murmured excitedly, her smile gradually deepening. Princess, do we want to report to your majesty? Su Jing bowed and looked at Lu Ruyi. For some reason, she suddenly felt that Lu Ruyi's smile was paranoid and sick. Illusion. She shook her head secretly. Who doesn't know that Lu Ruyi is the reincarnation of a goddess and the auspicious sign of the Qing Empire? Noble and refined, caring about the world. Well, go ahead. I have to go personally to welcome my sister back. Chapter 84, Deserted Tower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. How much is this small tower? Lu Ruyan, who didn't know she had been exposed, wandered around after buying the coordinate map out of curiosity, and unknowingly stopped in front of a stall. Lu Ruyan felt that this small tower was extraordinary, so she picked it up and looked at it, and asked. 10,000 high-quality spirit stones. The stall owner stroked his beard and said leisurely. So expensive? Lu Ruyan was shocked by the price and almost lost her grip. Lu Ruyan, who had not experienced the world, didn't know that street goods could be bargained. She also didn't know that street goods were actually gold panning in the sea. In her impression, 10,000 high-quality spirit stones was a huge sum that even the village chief couldn't afford. However, Lu Ruyan quickly came to her senses and thought of the top-quality spirit stones that Qing gave her, and her confidence suddenly rose. She scanned it carefully with her spiritual sense, but couldn't see its material, and it couldn't carry spiritual power. It was just a dead object. Just when Lu Ruyan was disappointed and wanted to give up, the Huanta suddenly released a breath, and took the initiative to recognize the master, and send a memory to her. Immortal weapon. Huanta. After receiving the message from Huanta, Lu Ruyan's heart was in turmoil, and she quickly threw a piece of top-grade spiritual stone to the stall owner. Okay, I want it. The old man took the top-grade spiritual stone, without any joy of cheating a fat sheep, because Lu Ruyan's expression had already written on her face that she had bought a treasure. How could he smile? Little girl, I was wrong just now. This small tower wants 1 million top-grade spiritual stones. The old man's turbid triangular eyes revealed a greedy and sinister light. Lu Ruyan was a little girl who knew nothing about the world at a glance, and it was unknown how many top-grade spiritual stones she had. I say, Lao Li, that's enough. If you break the rules like this, how can we do business in the future? Yes, the money and goods are clear. If you want to break the rules, aren't you afraid that others will report to the city lord's mansion? That the people around couldn't stand it anymore. Some wanted to help Lu Ruyan, while others were simply jealous of Li Guang for making a top-grade spirit stone. Seeing their peers making money was more painful than losing money. Shut up, Li Guang shouted, his face ugly. Of course he knew that this was a violation of the regulations of the city lord's mansion. If he was caught, a fine would be a light punishment. If it was serious, his cultivation would be abolished directly. However, with 1 million top-grade spirit stones, who would still make a living in this hellhole? Little girl, I give you two choices: either return the small tower to me, or give me another 1 million top-grade spirit stones. Li Guang's face was sinister, and his third-level cultivation in the Purple Mansion realm burst out with a bang, and his momentum was overwhelming. The shadow of a tiger loomed, revealing murderous aura. If it was an ordinary boy, he would probably have been frightened by Li Guang's momentum, but Lu Ruyan is not like that. Then I will give you two choices: return the top-grade spirit stone to me, and compensate me with 100,000 top-grade spirit stones, or I will fight you to the death. Lu Ruyan was not afraid at all. With a cold and arrogant face, standing proudly, looking indifferent to life and death. She has never seen the world, but it does not mean that she is stupid. hearing the discussions of the people around her, she knew very well that Li Guang was just bluffing and wanted to finish this job and leave. You. Li Guang was furious and directly sacrificed the spirit weapon, but did not do it. Seeing that Lu Ruyan also sacrificed the spirit weapon, it seemed that she was going to fight to the death, not fake. His face changed for a while, and he gritted his teeth and said, okay, today I am defeated. He threw a storage bag to Lu Ruyan, packed up and left without any nostalgia. Lu Ruyan took the storage bag and was very happy. Getting a fairy weapon for free and giving 100,000 spirit stones is really a great fortune. Little girl, you have to be careful. A kind old man reminded. Thank you. Lu Ruyan naturally knew that she was being targeted, not only by Li Guang, but also by the people watching the show around. The greed in everyone's eyes was about to overflow. It was just because this was a city that they didn't take action. Lu Ruyan thanked him and left quickly. After leaving the city, she saw Li Guang as expected, and there were several people following her. Hand over the things, quickly. Li Guang's triangular eyes were vicious and greedy, and his consciousness scanned everywhere. I found that there were other people following him, and his heart sank to the bottom of the valley in an instant, and he roared anxiously. You really got into trouble. Gu Qing's hearty voice came from the air. People with destiny can cause trouble wherever they go. He didn't go into the city with Lu Ruyan because he was afraid of encountering a little villain and sending his head. He really had no interest in taking action against Xiao Kara. Who? Several people were shocked and looked around as if they were facing a great enemy, scanning with their consciousness. However, before they could speak again, an invisible force wiped them out. What do you mean I'm causing trouble? It's obvious that they want to kill people and steal treasures. Back on the flying boat, Lu Ruyan rolled her eyes, looking arrogant and naive. Although she was only 13 years old, she developed earlier due to her cultivation. Her figure was like a slender, and exquisite, like a bud about to bloom. Her facial features were delicate, and her pair of black and bright eyes were like gems inlaid on her snow-white and delicate skin. Smart and charming, Lu Ruyan's temperament was originally noble and cold, but when she rolled her eyes, she looked like a lively and lovely girl, with a very contrasting cuteness. Gu Qing couldn't help pinching her fair cheeks. 2 red marks appeared on her rosy face in an instant, making her even more lovely and tender. What are you doing? Lu Ruyan angrily slapped him away, her snow-white skin quickly covered with blush. Don't think she knows nothing because she is young. And he told her that men and women should not be intimate, and men should not touch her. Tsk, little girl, you have a bad temper. Gu Qing chuckled, retracted his hand, and asked, do you need to go home? If not, I will take you to the central god realm, and then return to the star temple. When Lu Ruyan heard the word home, her face instantly sank, her black eyes were dim, and her body exuded a violent aura, as if the devil had appeared in the world. She thought for a long time and asked, will you help me? That she wanted to go back and sever ties with her parents. And by the way, see Lu Rui's current situation, whether she had refined her god and devil origin. Is there any possibility for her to snatch it back? Yes. Gu Qing was a little curious about Lu Ruyan's sister, what kind of villain she was. If there was any value, Gu Qing didn't mind making friends with her. Thank you. Lu Ruyan thanked him solemnly and secretly remembered Gu Qing's kindness. Then, she proposed to retreat for a few days. She wanted to digest the inheritance of the desolate tower. Gu Qing was not idle either, silently comprehending the Chaos Immortal Sutra. Improving cultivation is urgent. Boom. A roar came from the calm sky, the whole world shook, and the terrifying atmosphere spread. Lu Ruyi came with a group of strong men, scanned the city, and her face instantly became gloomy. Where is he? Su Jing immediately contacted the middle-aged monk who informed him, and after a moment, said, Princess, he fell. Find, even if the whole desolate continent is turned upside down, we must find my sister. Lu Ruyi said coldly. Yes. Everyone dared not delay. Everyone knew that Lu Ruyi loved her sister like her life. Even if the emperor and the queen gave up looking for Lu Ruyan, she still did not give up. She even kept looking for treasures to leave for her sister to heal her wounds. The eldest princess is good in everything, but she is too kind. Everyone thought so. If it were them, they would definitely not be able to do what Lu Ruyi did. After all, Lu Ruyi refined her sister's essence, although she had no choice, and although it was taken away by the emperor and the queen, it had nothing to do with Lu Ruyi. But Lu Ruyi is the beneficiary, of course. She must cut the grass and root it out to prevent future troubles. Sister, where are you? I have been looking for you so hard. In mid-air, Lu Ruyi's face was twisted, her eyes were like black holes, and like hell, gloomy and terrifying. After finally getting the news about Lu Ruyan, she would never let her lovely sister leave her again. Chapter 85. Born a bad seed, whoever wants it can have it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this a vicious female villain? She is at the third level of the god-refining realm and possesses innate demonic energy. The void flying boat is a sacred weapon. After the concealment formation is turned on, it is difficult to detect it even at the venerable level. As for the people Lu Ruyi brought, the strongest ones were only at the king level, so they couldn't find any trace even above her head, but Lu Ruyi and others made too much noise, which woke Qing up. He raised his eyes and glanced. His eyes were shining brightly, and Lu Ruyi's physique, including his soul, was clearly visible. Possessing the primordial demon fetus, this is an invincible physique comparable to the supreme divine body, with unlimited potential. In addition, Lu Ruyi still has the origin of gods and demons in her body, which has been integrated with her body. System, check her attribute data, and check her personality by the way. Name, Lu Ruyi. Realm, the third level of the god-refining realm. Physique, Xuanhuan demon fetus, the body of gods and demons. Talent, unparalleled understanding, born with Taoism. Destiny, destined villain. Destiny, the devil is in chaos and slaughters the common people. Luck 200000. Character, vicious and violent, good at playing with people's hearts, paranoid and morbid, extremely girl-controlling. Awesome, he is a ruthless person who will destroy the world. The devil is in chaos and slaughtering the common people, which may seem like a light word, but the number of fallen creatures is more than hundreds of millions. This is a real devil kid, but what the hell is extreme girl control? Since Lu Ruyi is extremely girl-controlled, why does she want to refine her sister's essence? If you don't understand, just ask. Qing immediately calls his adoptive mother. Literally, she has a vicious and violent personality and takes pleasure in torturing others, and torturing her sister brings her endless pleasure. So, is this paranoid and morbid, the so-called Yandere? Qing's eyelids twitched. He tortured Lu Ruyan until he trembled when he heard his name. He really couldn't understand Lu Ruyi's brain circuit. I can't understand it at all. Qing took a closer look at Lu Ruyi's appearance. Although he is only 13 years old, he has already become a slim figure. Caslin has an oval face as big as a palm, and her big eyes are sparkling. Her eyelashes are dark and thick and curled. When she blinks lightly, she looks like stars flashing, containing infinite spirituality. The little nose is delicate and straight, and the little mouth is plump and tender. Just looking at it makes people want to taste it. The snow-white and delicate skin is white and rosy, delicate and tender. Her temperament is elegant, noble, and otherworldly, like a little fairy who accidentally fell into the mortal world. She looks like this and is actually a Yandere. No one dares to believe her if she says it. Host, this system recommends that you never have bad thoughts about her. She is a born bad person that no one can control, and even gods cannot control. God can't control it, but a conceptual level reader who transcends the infinite box will definitely be able to control this sick girl. Qing muttered, giving up the idea of becoming friends with her. A Yandere who is born with a bad seed will be wanted by anyone who loves her. Let's go and see. Even garbage is divided into hazardous waste and non-hazardous waste. Maybe Lu Ruyi would be useful. Qing drove the void-flying boat and left quietly, finding a random place to stop. Qing adjusted his mentality. His soul interacted with the world, and understood the rules of the world. Qing's whole body was filled with chaotic energy, and a starry sky emerged in the universe. The sun, moon and stars were rotating, intersecting with the stars in the sky, and the infinite brilliance of stars fell down. Ha! There is a strong man who has attained enlightenment in Sangming Mountain. The order goes down and all disciples are not allowed to come within 100,000 miles of Sangming Mountain. The movement of Qing's cultivation was so great that he could not hide it from those who were above the void Dao realm. he immediately ordered his disciples' family members not to mistakenly think that the birth of a treasure would interrupt Qing's enlightenment, interrupting other people's enlightenment, cutting off people's opportunities, and in serious cases may even lead to obsession. The consequences are more serious than killing one's parents. It can be said that it will never stop until death. On the other side, after searching for half a month, there was no trace of Ruyan. Ruyi wanted to kill all the ants in the city. In fact, that's what she did. Let someone wipe out this city with one slap. These ants couldn't even keep her sister for half an hour, damn it. Princess, your majesty has an order for your highness to go back. Looking at Ruyi, whose face was as gloomy as water, no one dared to breathe, because they knew very well that Ruyi was usually pure and kind, and could not even bear to step on the ants on the ground to death. She was like a goddess who was compassionate and caring for all the people in the world, but once Ruyan is involved, he can do anything. Thinking about it, everyone couldn't help but envy Ruyan. Ruyan was born a witch, but she was so loved by her goddess sister that she had no regrets in her life. Hey, sister, where are you? Ruyi's little face was a little twisted, annoyed and angry. She was silent for a long time, her pink lips moved slightly, and she said in a cold voice, "You continue to search, expand the scope of your search, and as long as you can find my sister, I will reward him with a holy fruit and a holy level skill. If I find my sister's traces, I will reward her with a venerable level skill and 10,000 years Qing medicine." Yes, after hearing such a generous reward, everyone's resentment disappeared. What does half a month count? They wish they could look for another 10 or 8 years. Father, Queen Mother. When Ruyi returned to the palace, she looked remorseful, haggard and broken, and looked extremely pitiful. It makes people want to hold her in their arms and give her their heart. Ruyi, why are you going through such trouble? That the dignified and beautiful queen hugged her daughter in her arms and gently stroked her little face. Mother, I'm sorry for my sister. I can't find my sister. I feel uneasy. Ruyi whispered, her tone full of guilt and self-blame. This has nothing to do with you. Ruyi, don't take the responsibility on yourself. She asked for all this. The queen was furious and said hatefully, if she hadn't wanted to purify the holy lotus, you wouldn't have been hurt by the power of purification. And the only thing that can save you is her demon body origin, using demonic energy to dissolve the power of purification. This is what she owes you. She became more and more angry as she spoke, and even regretted why she didn't strangle Ruyan to death when she gave birth to her. Ruyan and Ruyi are twin sisters. When Ruyi was born, the sky was full of auspiciousness, the beasts came to congratulate, the purple air came from the east, the goddess's Dharma image reflected the heaven and earth, and the rain fell from the sky. This is the vision of the goddess reincarnation. However, when Ruyan was born, the world was in ruins, the gods were boundless, the devil flames were raging, and the sky was weeping blood, as if an ancient giant demon had descended on the world and wanted to slaughter the people. Everyone believed that Ruyan was the reincarnation of the devil, and that keeping her would definitely overthrow the great Qing Empire and bring disaster to the people. Countless civil and military officials begged and forced the palace to get rid of Ruyan to eliminate future troubles, but at that time, she was a new mother and had infinite love for her child, so she refused to execute Ruyan. Now it seems that the original decision may have been wrong. A fool with no eyes. Ruyi nestled in the queen's chest, her eyes were deep and dark, emitting a fascinating light. Ruyan is a divine and demonic body, the supreme physique closest to the innate gods, more terrifying than the supreme divine body, and a natural seed of the great Tao. It's just that the divine and demonic body was only born in the 9 heavens immortal realm, but it no longer appeared in the ancient times, and it has never appeared in the lower world. It is normal that these people can't see the strange phenomenon of the divine and demonic body. She was born with knowledge and had the memory of the inheritance of the original demon fetus, so she knew the wonders of the divine and demonic body, and her original demon fetus, known as the beginning of all demons, can have any visions she wants. It's ridiculous that these idiots actually worship her as a goddess. It's ridiculous to regard the innate sacred as a witch. Ruyi, that which is not worthy of being your sister. You must not look for her again in the future. Let her fend for herself. Lu Yuanzhong's face was majestic, and his tone was overbearing and could not be refuted. No. She is my sister. I must find her and take care of her for the rest of my life. Hearing this, Lu Rui's face changed drastically, and she pushed the queen away with a cold look. Lu Ruyan is her source of happiness. Every time she tortured her cute, obedient sister to tears, fear and pain, her soul was sublimated. Life is boring without her sister. These two old wastes actually want to give up the search, which is simply courting death. Alas, Ruyi, you are so kind, I really don't know whether it is good or bad. Lu Yuanzhong sighed and shook his head helplessly. No one can stop me from looking for my sister. After that, Lu Ruyi left the main hall with an indifferent look. Chapter 86. Why does my sister have to grow up? You are listening at novelfull.audio. 3 months later, Lu Ruyan walked out of the retreat room with an unnatural look. It was agreed that she would only retreat for a few days, but she fell into enlightenment, and then she practiced so hard that she forgot everything else, and her cultivation level directly broke through to the first level of the Purple Mansion realm. If she hadn't been awakened by the breakthrough of the Great Realm, she would probably have been able to retreat for a long time. I don't know if Qing will blame her. After all, for a genius like Qing, time is too precious. Lu Ruyan walked up to Qing nervously, blushing and whispering, I'm sorry, I kept you waiting. The village chief grandfather taught her that she must apologize if she did something wrong. If it's someone you care about, you should apologize even more. Thinking about it, Lu Ruyan lowered her head and lifted one eyelid to peek at Qing to see if he was angry. It's okay, I can oversleep even when I sleep, let alone retreat and practice. Qing waved his hand indifferently. How long Lu Ruyan delayed had little impact on him. After all, he has been comprehending the laws of heaven and earth. With enough resources, practicing anywhere is not practicing. Are we going to the imperial capital now? Qing asked. Yes. Lu Ruyan's eyes showed a firm look, and she nodded heavily. She must sever her relationship with Lu Yuanzhong and Jiang Chuyue. They are not worthy of being parents. The moment her origin was taken away, the family relationship between them had been completely severed. Okay. Qing controlled the void-flying boat, and in a few breaths, he arrived above the imperial capital. Boom. The momentum of the Qing realm was fully displayed. The void roared, the auspicious colors were colorful, and the stars were shining, as if a vast universe reflected reality. Well. Which Qing realm senior came to the imperial capital? Millions of people in the imperial capital raised their heads, their eyes showing reverence and yearning. Although the great Qing Empire has a Saint Realm ancestor sitting in the palace, the King Realm is still the existence they look up to. Who is coming? Lu Yuanzhong's majestic voice spread from the palace. Star Temple, Qing. Star Temple. Countless strong men in the imperial capital frowned and thought, is there such a sect in the East region? Everyone curiously asked their friends through voice transmission. What sect is the Star Temple? How dare they be so arrogant and domineering? I don't know, it must be extraordinary. After a voice transmission, no one in the Qing Empire had heard of the Star Temple, but Qing showed off his cultivation so arrogantly. The Star Temple must have a great background, and it is definitely not an ordinary holy place. They didn't know that Wanbao Tower must know the roots of the Star Temple, so all the powerful people immediately sent a voice to the owner of Wanbao Tower, including the Emperor and the Empress. 10 million high-grade spirit stones, no deception. Chu Shilin made billions of high-grade spirit stones in a short time. It's really a case of sitting at home and making money from the sky. Today will be revealed. My dear ministers, follow me out of the city to welcome the distinguished guest. When Lu Yuanzhong heard that the Star Temple was an ancient sect with a divine fire realm in charge, his face changed immediately and he summoned civil and military ministers, princes and nobles to give him a grand reception. Everyone was uneasy and didn't know why Qing came. He must not come to seek revenge. Welcome to you, Taoist Gu. I hope you will forgive me for not welcoming you from afar. Lu Yuanzhong clasped his fists and performed the etiquette of a cultivator. We have met Taoist Gu. Officials above the fourth rank in the imperial capital and strong men above the refining spirit realm were almost all present. This shocked the people of the imperial capital. Even the emperor and empress came out to greet them. the great Qing Empire was the top power in the eastern region, so why should they be so humble? Everyone couldn't imagine how noble the identity of the visitor was. Lu Ruyan's face was cold, and her beautiful eyes stared at Lu Yuanzhong and Jiang Chuyue, revealing a monstrous hatred, but when she saw the radiant Lu Ruyi, her face turned pale, her body trembled slightly, and her beautiful eyes showed fear. The fear of being dominated by Lu Ruyi in her childhood emerged one by one in her heart, piercing her nails with needles, making her lick the blade, forcing her to self-harm and making her laugh. The double torture of mind and body. Lu Ruyi's voice was like the whisper of a devil, still ringing in her ears. Lu Ruyan was so scared that she was weak all over, and her mind was blank. "Are you okay?" Gu Qing was quick to hug the soft Emperor Ruyan into his arms. The small waist was slender and soft, the body fragrance of the girl, like orchid and musk, wafted into her nose. "Ruyan!" Gu Qing shouted loudly. The sound was like thunder, exploding in Lu Ruyan's mind, containing the mysterious rhyme of Taoism, making her wake up instantly. Lu Ruyan took a deep breath, calmed her mind, and used her energy to dispel the fear in her heart. "Thank you. It's okay, go ahead, I'll be behind you, do whatever you want." Gu Qing gave her an encouraging look and ruffled her hair. "Ouch!" Lu Ruyan slapped him away angrily. This was her hair that she had carefully dressed up for more than an hour. How could it be messed up? It was so annoying. After Gu Qing's actions, the fear in Lu Ruyan's heart completely disappeared. Lu Ruyan redressed her makeup and put on a mature makeup to avoid being looked down upon for her youthful face. "Where did you get the rouge and powder?" Gu Qing asked in astonishment. Lu Ruyan not only had more than a dozen boxes of cosmetics, but her movements were also quite skillful, and she didn't look like someone who came out of the deserted mountains at all. "Don't mind girls' business." Lu Ruyan rolled her eyes and kicked Gu Qing's calf angrily. "Back off, back off, back off. Okay, get out now. They've been waiting for almost an hour. They're probably ready to kill." Gu Qing chuckled. To be honest, Emperor Ruyan took off his cold and world-weary face and was very lively and active. This is not surprising. It is normal for Lu Ruyan, a girl in her teens, to be lively and active. No one is born cold and world-weary. The world is difficult, and being cold and taciturn is just a way of holding on. On the other side, Lu Yuanzhong's face was as gloomy as water. There were tens of thousands of people here to welcome them. Almost all the dignitaries of the great Qing Empire came out in full force, and the imperial capital was watched by hundreds of millions. Gu Qing was so good that he just left them alone for an hour, and rubbed their faces hard on the ground. It can be imagined that after today, the majesty of their great Qing Empire will be completely destroyed and will become the laughing stock of the entire wasteland continent. Lu Yuanzhong wanted to turn around and leave, but the Star Temple was too scary. Before he knew Gu Qing's purpose, he really didn't dare to leave, and he didn't even dare to urge him. If Gu Qing spoke rudely, they would only be more embarrassed. "Sister." The moment Lu Ruyan appeared on the flying boat pavilion, Lu Ruyi's eyes burst into shocking joy, and her body trembled with excitement. She rushed forward without hesitation, and with a bang, she was bounced back by the light curtain of the formation. "Sister, where have you been all these years? I have been looking for you so hard." Lu Ruyi was so excited that her beautiful eyes were filled with tears. She wanted to touch her sister's little face through the light curtain of the formation. Her appearance was enlarged in proportion, and she was still as lovely as before. No, not as lovely as before. The white and tender milk ball was her favorite, obedient, soft and cute, and she was very happy to bully it. The tears in Lu Ruyi's eyes disappeared instantly, and her black pupils looked at Lu Ruyan dimly. Why does my sister have to grow up? She doesn't like her grown-up sister. You devil! Lu Ruyan was instinctively afraid when she saw her like this, because she knew very well what kind of person Lu Ruyi was. She was a born bad seed. She was covered with the halo of a goddess, but her heart was dark and evil, and she enjoyed killing and torturing people. Chapter 87, Help You Wake Up. Any questions? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Devil. Lu Ruyi looked sad, and a crystal teardrop hung on her curled eyelashes, about to fall. She is indeed a devil, but who believes it? The younger sister is not obedient, but she likes her more. when the younger sister falls into her hands, she will train her sister to be what she wants. Ruyan, how can you slander your sister? Do you know how hard your sister has been looking for you all these years? Apologize to your sister quickly. Jiang Chuyue's face was full of anger, and her dignified and luxurious temperament seemed a little sarcastic at this moment. At first, she was a little happy to see Lu Ruyan, who had been lost for many years. After all, she was a piece of flesh and blood that fell from her body, but when she heard Lu Ruyan slander Lu Ruyi as a devil, she was furious and hatred grew. Lu Ruyi is her beloved, well-behaved and gentle, kind-hearted, and unparalleled in talent, she has always been proud of. Having Lu Ruyi as her daughter, Lu Yuanzhong also looked at Lu Ruyan with a gloomy face, his eyes revealed a vicious and violent look, and veins on his forehead bulged. He never expected that the person who made him lose face was actually his daughter. The witch is indeed a witch, she is vicious and can't wait to come back for revenge once she gains power. The civil and military ministers of the great Qing Empire looked worried, and their eyes swept back and forth between Lu Ruyan and her sister. They all impeached Lu Ruyan, and they didn't know whether Lu Ruyan would retaliate against them. I'm sorry, sister. It's all my fault that I'm useless and got you implicated. Lu Ruyi apologized humbly, her clear and lively eyes filled with tears, pitiful, and a heartbreaking sense of brokenness, but deep in her eyes, there was a trace of badness, mocking and gloomy looking at Lu Ruyan, as if laughing at Lu Ruyan's incompetence. It was like a hunter hiding in the dark, staring at the dying prey. Lu Ruyan felt cold all over when she was looked at, her face turned pale, and she couldn't help but take a step back. This devil must be thinking about how to torture her again. Every time she showed such an expression, she was tortured to the point of mental breakdown. Enough, Lu Ruyan, don't think that your sister is kind and you can bully her. I should have executed you at the beginning. Seeing Lu Ruyi's sad and heartbroken face, Jiang Chuyue was immediately furious and cursed. It's like this again. Lu Ruyan shook her head in despair. Every time she was tortured to the point of wanting to die, she went to complain. Not only did she not get the concern of her father and mother, but she wanted to kill her. They believed that she framed her, had a vicious mind, and wanted to bully Lu Ruyi. She was still young before, and she couldn't explain it clearly, but were they both fools and blind people? Why didn't they believe her once? Why didn't they investigate it clearly? Is it because she is a natural witch? Or do they not care about her at all? Sister. Seeing Lu Ruyan's fear and despair, Lu Ruyi was very excited, her eyes flashing with a strange light. Yes, it was this feeling. My sister was still so cute. Every time she saw her sister's desperate and helpless look, she felt happy physically and mentally, and her soul was sublimated. Ruyan. Gu Qing walked out, patted her shoulders gently, and looked at Jiang Chuyue with cold eyes. Lu Ruyi deserved to die, but such parents who could not distinguish right from wrong and beat and scold their daughter at what were simply unworthy of being human. I'm fine. Lu Ruyan came back to her senses, feeling Gu Qing's concern. She felt a surge of courage in her heart, and her eyes gradually became firm. Even if the world slandered her and bullied her, she at least had Gu Qing, master, and Liujia village. Fellow Taoist Gu, you must not be deceived by this evil girl. She has been lying since she was a child and has a vicious mind. The reason why we extracted her demon body essence is because she bewitched her sister to go to the Qing mountain secret realm to find the purifying holy lotus. Jiang Chuyue felt cold all over when she was looked at. The Qing Empire could not afford to offend the Star Temple. She hurriedly explained and put all the faults on Lu Ruyan. Her daughter Lu Ruyi was pure and holy, with unparalleled talent and a promising future. She must not be slandered by Lu Ruyan, she must not be targeted by the Star Temple. I didn't let her go. Lu Ruyan said angrily. She was only 5 years old at the time. She didn't even know what the secret realm and the purifying holy lotus were. How could she let Lu Ruyi go? And the Qing mountain secret realm was a small secret world opened up by a powerful person in the divine fire realm. The lowest level of monsters in it was also level 3, Lu Ruyi was only at the condensation realm at that time. She went in to find the holy medicine and came out alive. This was something that even the void realm could not do, but Lu Ruyi did it. Didn't anyone doubt it? No one listened to her explanation at that time, and some even said that Lu Ruyi was lucky and blessed by God, accusing her of having a vicious mind. Evil girl, you still dare to quibble? It's not you who bewitched, is it your sister who slandered you? Hearing Lu Ruyan's rebuttal, Jiang Chuyue was furious. With an imposing manner and fierce eyes, Lu Ruyan had escaped for several years. Not only did she not change her stubbornness, but now she even dared to contradict her words. The more Jiang Chuyue thought about it, the angrier she became. She made up her mind to let the palace nanny teach Lu Ruyan a lesson. Ruyan, facing people who don't care about you, no matter what you say, it's wrong. The people who wronged you may know better than anyone that you are wronged. Gu Qing was completely speechless about this blind and heartless pair of parents. He said to Lu Ruyan in a deep voice, don't hold out hope for such parents anymore. If Lu Ruyan is kind and soft-hearted, and still has affection for these two people, then he can only pat his butt and leave. After all, people with different paths cannot work together. Is that so? Lu Ruyan murmured. Gu Qing's words were like a revelation. Her resentful and depressed heart not suddenly became clear. That's right, when Lu Ruyi took away her origin, she told her the whole story. Lu Ruyi was attracted by her divine and demonic body origin, and wanted to destroy her and imprison her for life. She also told her how powerful the divine and demonic body was, and it was not a demonic body at all, and encouraged her to complain. She went there stupidly at that time, and as expected, she was beaten half to death by the nanny beside Jiang Chuyue. Gu Dao you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. They are all my daughters. If it wasn't for her. Jiang Chuyue didn't care that Gu Qing was a disciple of the Star Temple. She would never allow anyone to slander Lu Ruyi. After all, if it was true, what kind of person would Lu Ruyi become? However, before she could finish her words, Gu Qing revealed his realm of the king, bound Jiang Chuyue, and slapped her in the face. Snap. You, don't go too far. Seeing Jiang Chuyue's face swollen after being slapped several times in a row, Lu Yuanzhong also felt his face burning. After all, Jiang Chuyue was his queen, and slapping her face was slapping his own face. Lu Yuanzhong's eyes showed murderous intent. Although he was afraid of the Star Temple, he didn't dare to kill anyone after being humiliated by Gu Qing. It was no problem to teach her a lesson. Her mind is not clear, I will wake her up. Is there a problem? Gu Qing sneered, his eyes were cold, and continued to add. Look at her again, her face is ruddy, her eyes are bright, isn't she more energetic? Puff. In the solemn atmosphere, someone suddenly laughed. She didn't want to laugh, but what Gu Qing said was too funny. It was simply murderous. He beat the man's face until it was swollen, but he still insisted that it was to help him wake up. This is really unbelievable. Everyone present also looked like they wanted to laugh but didn't dare to, and they were really uncomfortable holding it back. What are you laughing at? You are not allowed to laugh. Jiang Chuyue's eyes were crooked, her mouth was crooked, and her face was red and swollen. She said sternly to Zhou Yuqin. Chapter 88 My stupid sister was fooled again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sorry, my young master just acted like a demon, and I couldn't help myself. Zhou Yuqin apologized, but the smile on her face did not diminish at all. What a joke, she is an elder of the Tianlong Holy Land, and she came to the great Qing Empire to be an official, just to cultivate her mind in the mortal world. There is no need to look at the face of the royal family, at most she can just leave. Jiang Chuyue also thought of this, and immediately went down the stairs. She used her power to eliminate the bruises on her face, and looked at Gu Qing with anger. Fellow Taoist Gu, you are too much. Can you do whatever you want by relying on the Star Temple? I just help you with good intentions. If you don't appreciate it, forget it. Gu Qing's tone was light, as if he was telling a normal thing. Okay. My dear ministers, who can teach this ignorant lunatic a lesson for me? Lu Yuanzhong laughed in anger. If he didn't fight back after being slapped in the face by a small king, the great Qing Empire could be disbanded. Although the Star Temple is powerful, it is impossible to send the ancestor of the divine fire realm out of the mountain for a madman. If this is true, then the ancestor of the divine fire realm will be busy to death. Moreover, there is an unwritten rule in the world that seniors generally do not interfere in the disputes of the same generation and level. Your Majesty, I am willing to fight. After a few breaths of silence, a tall middle-aged man stood up, exuding an iron-blooded murderous aura, like a war god who has been on the battlefield for a long time. Okay, Su Aiqing, you will teach this madman a lesson for me. Lu Yuanzhong nodded, his face grim, like an indifferent emperor looking down on everyone. Su Qingtian is the peak of the 9th level of the Qing realm. It is a bit bullying to use him to deal with Gu Qing, who is in the 2nd level of the Qing realm. But in order to be foolproof, Lu Yuanzhong can no longer care so much. Yes. Su Qingtian took a step forward, and the strange phenomenon was earth-shaking, and a sea of blood and corpses appeared, and the murderous aura rushed into the sky. My son, you dare to disrespect the queen. Do you surrender or let me kill you on the spot? Gu Qing. Lu Ruyan's face changed drastically, and she nervously pulled Gu Qing's sleeve. How about we go first? Although she didn't know much about the great Qing Empire, she still knew Su Qingtian. This was her fiancé's father, who had never been defeated in his life and was known as the invincible god of war of the great Qing Empire, invincible in battle and invincible in attack. It's okay, just an ant. Gu Qing chuckled. Although Su Qingtian's vision was terrifying and he was the best in the Qing realm, in his eyes, he was just like that. All the Qing realm were ants that could be killed at will in his hands. After all, he practiced the Chaos Immortal Sutra that integrated countless exercises, and refined a large amount of precious liquid to evolve his body. With such a deep foundation, even if he gave up resistance, no Qing realm could beat him. Arrogant. Su Qingtian was furious. He had never lost in his life and had won countless honors. Gu Qing was only at the 2nd level of the Qing realm, but he dared to look down on him like this. This was simply a huge humiliation. Whether you are arrogant or not, you will know if you take my finger. Gu Qing put away the void-flying boat, pointed out with a finger, condensed thousands of stars, and imprisoned the world. The whole world seemed to be wrapped in the universe and the stars. One finger contained the power of star-breaking, which was unmatched. Everyone changed color. Even if the star-breaking finger did not attack them, the vast divine power still made them feel their souls exploded. And Su Qingtian, who was locked in, was frightened to death at this time. Under the monstrous divine power of the star-breaking finger, he felt as if he was facing the power of heaven, small and powerless, so that he did not even have the courage to resist. The great fear of death rose in his heart. Su Qingtian hurriedly stabilized his collapsing mind and sacrificed the defensive magic weapon, the King's Seal. With a bang, the seal was exploded by a finger and turned into powder, and the power of the star-breaking finger was reduced by 8 points. Su Qingtian's soul was injured and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Looking at the nearby star-breaking finger, he instantly burned his spirit and exerted his strongest magical power, but he was still defeated and half of his body was blown up by a finger. Su Qingtian immediately took a few healing pills and quickly regenerated his broken limbs, but this was only on the surface. The newly grown body was not the original body at all, and the foundation was completely destroyed. Moreover, his realm was falling rapidly, and he dropped to the 7th level of the Qing realm in an instant. Su Qingtian ignored the injuries on his body and looked at Gu Qing with horror, as if he saw an incredible monster. The people present were the same. Gu Qing's strength is unquestionable, but they have never heard of a Qing realm breaking a king's weapon with one blow. Today is an eye-opener. In addition, until this time they found that Gu Qing was too young. He looked only in his 20s. A king in his 20s, what kind of concept is this? I've never seen this before. Not dead. There's something. Gu Qing was surprised for a moment, and stopped moving. Lu Ruyan breathed a sigh of relief. This future father-in-law had helped her, and her fiancé Su Chen was her only playmate in the great Qing Empire. Gu Daoyu, are you the holy son of the Star Temple? Lu Yuanzhong's tone was respectful, and he didn't have any resentment towards Gu Qing in his heart. Gu Qing was so terrifying. He was definitely not an ordinary disciple. Maybe he was the holy son. If Gu Qing was offended to death, the great Qing Empire would be in danger of destruction. It's just a small true teaching. Gu Qing said. True teaching. Everyone looked at each other, if the true teaching is so terrifying, how evil is the Holy Sun? Originally, they were not very afraid of the Star Temple. After all, it was far away in the depths of the universe, and Wanbao Tower only said that there was a divine fire realm. They subconsciously thought that there was only one divine fire realm ancestor in charge, but after hearing what Qing said, there might be more than one divine fire realm. The sect that has been passed down since ancient times has a terrifying foundation that they can't imagine. For a while, everyone was more respectful to Qing, and even lowered their eyebrows to please him. Not good. Lu Rui's eyes moved away from her sister and began to look at Qing. I thought she was just a talented ant, insignificant, and she had a lot of ways to deal with Qing, and her sister was hers alone, but Qing's talent and identity exceeded her expectations, and he was able to take her sister away. This is absolutely not possible. Are you really a true disciple? Lu Ruyan was a little unconvinced, because the star-shattering finger really shocked her too much. She asked herself that her talent was unparalleled, but she couldn't blow up the same level of spiritual tools and magic weapons. Of course. Qing nodded slightly and smiled. The finger just now is called the star-breaking finger, which is the superior magical power of the Star Temple. Above this, there are also the star-picking hand, the 7 stars. Qing said more than a dozen peerless magical powers and Taoist scriptures in one breath. At the end, he added, when you return to the Star Temple, you can practice. Lu Ruyan's eyes were full of infinite yearning and excitement. Strong, the magical power of the Star Temple is too strong. At this moment, Lu Ruyan was extremely fortunate that the master let Qing lead her, fortunate to join the Star Temple. This is a great fortune, greater than obtaining a god-level technique and the inheritance of the divine fire realm. That everyone was so envious and jealous when they heard it. Most of the people present did not even have a saint-level technique, but joining the Star Temple would allow them to practice Taoist scriptures that surpassed the divine fire realm and peerless magical powers. In a flash, Lu Ruyan went from being a witch that everyone hated to a goddess who was high above everyone else, ascending to heaven in one step. Damn it! Jiang Chuyue's teeth were almost broken, and she looked at Lu Ruyan angrily. She felt that Lu Ruyan did not deserve such a good fortune, and it should be Lu Rui's. Qing glanced at her coldly, causing the latter to shudder and stammer. Now let's talk about it again. Is there anything wrong with me waking you up? But when these words came out, everyone was stunned at first, and then their faces twitched. Is this not going to stop until the queen's face is smashed? Jiang Chuyue subconsciously wanted to refute, but when she heard Lu Yuanzhong's voice transmission, she replied with frustration and embarrassment, no problem. Ruyan is a goddess, who has any objection? Qing asked. We have no objection. Princess Ruyan was born noble, she is the reincarnation of a goddess, I can testify to this. I can also testify. If anyone dares to slander Princess Ruyan again, Everyone nodded in agreement and promised that they would vigorously promote the name of the goddess Lu Ruyan. Lu Yuanzhong also smiled, but his fists hidden in his sleeves were clenched tightly. His heart was depressed, angry, and full of powerlessness. Being bullied by a king realm to this extent is a great shame. But he can't do anything. If someone in the same realm can defeat Qing, then everything will be fine, and the Star Temple should not intervene in the same level of competition. This is the default rule of the world, but no one in the same realm is Qing's opponent, and he can't do anything. If a higher realm is sent, the nature will be different. He still dare not challenge the majesty of the Star Temple. Qing. Looking at the thousands of people admiring her and complimenting her one by one, Lu Ruyan's clear eyes were full of watery light, and a warm current flowed in her heart. How much she wanted to be like Lu Ruyi, a goddess admired by hundreds of millions of people, but this was ultimately her fantasy. But today, Qing helped her realize it with just one word. The strong are respected, this is an eternal truth. Qing said. Lu Ruyan nodded heavily, her little heart was full of desire to become stronger. Go. Qing gave her a look, indicating that she could announce the severance of the relationship. Not good. Seeing Lu Ruyan nod, Lu Ruyi secretly said not good. She hurriedly sent a message, Sister, do you know where Madame Gong is? Lu Ruyan's delicate body trembled, and her face turned pale. Seeing this, Lu Ruyi continued to send a message, Sister, I know I have done a lot of wrong things, and I don't ask for your forgiveness. As long as you are willing to stay in the imperial capital for 10 days, I will immediately release Madame Gong. Will you be so kind? Lu Ruyan didn't believe a word she said. I will let Madame Gong go now. Lu Rui's voice was full of tears. Sister, I really know I was wrong. I have been looking for treasures for you all these years. I will also return the origin of the body of gods and demons to you. I only ask you to give me a chance to make up for it. Lu Ruyan shook her head. What Lu Ruyi said was extremely tempting, and she was inevitably moved. But she knew very well that Lu Ruyi was a born bad seed, vicious and twisted. It is better to believe that she is an immortal emperor than to believe that she truly repents. However, Madame Gong is her lifesaver and treats her like a close relative. It was Madame Gong who took her away from the palace and gave her the only void great teleportation talisman. If she was left alone, Madame Gong would surely die. Promise her, I also want to go into the city to relax. Gu Qing suddenly said in a voice transmission. The voice transmission between the two was meaningless in his eyes. Lu Ruyi must have a bad idea in mind, but Gu Qing is not worried at all. At worst, she can use the cosmic tower to destroy the entire Qing Empire in one blow. Thank you. Lu Ruyan pursed her lips, deeply moved. Why are you being polite? Let's go into the city. Gu Qing took her into the city and ignored Lu Yuanzhong and a group of civil and military officials. Haha, my stupid sister, you've been fooled again. Lu Ruyi was ecstatic and immediately sent a message to let Madame Gong go. Sister, you only have Gu Qing to rely on. If he becomes my servant, you will definitely be desperate, right? Chapter 89, My body is still clean now. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sister, wait for me. Lu Ruyi hurriedly chased after her, looking at Lu Ruyan's back with hot and sticky eyes. She had been separated from her sister for so many years, and she couldn't wait to hang on to her sister. Star Temple. The true inheritance of the king's realm. Everyone present looked at him eagerly, looking excited and nervous. Lu Ruyan was stripped of her origins and became a useless person, but she was still able to worship in the Star Temple. They thought this might be because of Gu Qing. Maybe he was attracted by Gu Qing. If Gu Qing is a lustful person, will the proud daughter of their family also have a chance to rise to power? As soon as this idea came up, everyone couldn't sit still and sent letters one after another to summon the descendants trained by the core. If Gu Qing takes a fancy to her, even if she becomes a servant, it will be a great opportunity. Ruyi is so kind. This evil girl has treated her like this, but Ruyi still treats her as her sister. Jiang Chuyue's eyes narrowed slightly, flashing with calculation, and she looked at Lu Yuanzhong and smiled in understanding. Obviously, both of them wanted to go together. I even feel that as long as Gu Qing and Lu Ruyi come into contact, they will be fascinated by their outstanding daughter. Although the two of them wanted to get rid of Gu Qing, in the face of absolute chance, this shame was nothing. How could there be such a powerful monster in the world? In the city, Tianzhao, who had been watching, felt infinite frustration in his heart. I thought they were unparalleled in talent and already invincible in the world, but I didn't expect that there were people who were countless times better than them, or even incomparable. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never believe that someone could break the magic weapon. This is the proud man of heaven. If I could. Gu Qing's peerless style is lingering in the minds of many proud girls. Younger sister. Lu Ruyi hurriedly followed, her perfect oval face showing a pleading look. Sister really knows that she was wrong. Her voice was extremely soft, as if it had a hook that made people's hearts tremble, coupled with her pitiful expression and delicate little face that is pure and lustful. It is estimated that no man can resist her, but Gu Qing resisted. Lu Ruyi is a more ruthless villain than Luoli, dark, twisted, paranoid and crazy. This crazy Yandra is too dangerous. Demon. Lu Ruyan jumped away reflexively and hid behind Gu Qing. Lu Ruyi's pink lips opened and closed with a hurt look on her face. After a few breaths of silence, she whispered, Sister, come with me. I will take you to see Grandma Gong right now. Let's abduct the person back to the mansion first. Her younger sister is too guarded against her, but as long as she can deal with Gu Qing, why not just let her play with her? Only, Lu Ruyi glanced at Gu Qing, her heart sank slightly. She no longer had the confidence she had at the beginning. She had just used the devil's charm, but Gu Qing actually didn't even look at her from the beginning to the end, which showed how determined Gu Qingdao was. It's not easy to start. What a drama queen. Gu Qing thought to himself. Lu Ruyi simply used her acting skills to the fullest, making it impossible to see any flaws. If he didn't know Lu Ruyi's true face, Gu Qing would have believed it. Soon, the three of them arrived at the princess's mansion, and an old palace made with a kind face stood at the door. Little princess. Mother Gong. Lu Ruyan shouted in surprise. She quickly glanced at Aunt Gong. She didn't have any injuries on her body, and she looked very good. Something strange. Lu Ruyan's heart sank. She knows better than anyone how ruthless Lu Ruyi is. How could Aunt Gong be unscathed when she fell into Lu Ruyi's hands? Moreover, his cultivation level has reached a breakthrough from the 3rd level of the God refining realm to the 5th level. Could it be that Aunt Gong has taken refuge with Lu Ruyi? As soon as this idea came out, Lu Ruyan felt sad in her heart, and at the same time she was happy for Aunt Gong. After all, Aunt Gong doesn't owe her anything. As long as Aunt Gong is fine. Lu Ruyan was very thoughtful. Younger sister. Lu Ruyi grabbed her little hand and said in a second, since you left, I have really repented, and I spend every day regretting it. Let go. Lu Ruyan took out her hand and looked at her with an indifferent expression. If she believed a word of Lu Ruyi's words, she would be a fool. Ruyan, your concubine has been turned into a demon slave. Gu Qing's eyes flashed, and he could see her soul clearly. Aunt Gong seems to be normal, but her soul has lost her self-awareness, and everything is dominated by Lu Ruyi. Demon slave. Lu Ruyan fell into the ice cave. This is more vicious than planting a slave mark. After all, he has planted the slave mark and still has self-awareness, but he cannot control his life or death. But the demon slave is a living dead, without self-awareness, and everything will be obeyed by the master. Lu Ruyan pursed her lips, forced a smile, and communicated intimately with Aunt Gong, but the more she communicated, the colder her heart became. Aunt Gong is just like a normal person, with memories of her life and clear thinking. If Gu Qing hadn't reminded her, she wouldn't have discovered it at all. Lu Ruyi's method of refining the demon slave is definitely the top secret method in the world. Lu Ruyi, I must kill you. Lu Ruyan's heart was full of killing intent, but his face remained calm. Although she is not Lu Ruyi's opponent yet, she can collect some interest first. Didn't Lu Ruyi say that she would give her the treasures of heaven and earth and return her the origin of the divine and demonic body? She wanted to see how long Lu Ruyi could keep pretending. On the other side, Su Qingtian returned to the mansion with despair. He was completely defeated by Gu Qing. Originally, he had already touched the mystery of the venerable realm. As long as he settled for a while, he would be able to break through. However, now, it was all destroyed by Gu Qing, but he didn't dare to take revenge, and he didn't even have the courage to resent Gu Qing. There is really a huge gap between the two. Gizi, you went to Quang brothel again. Seeing the drunken Su Chen, Su Qingtian became furious and slapped him. Crack! That a loud slap sounded in the silent hall. Su Chen's drunkenness subsided and he looked at his old father in disbelief. Dad, you hit me. Although Su Qingtian was very strict with him, and often got angry and wanted to beat him, but it was just a show, and he never actually did it. Son, you are already a grown-up. How can you behave like this when you hang around flowers all day long? Su Qingtian was furious, and a sense of sadness arose in his heart for no reason. He has 1 daughter and 5 sons, all of whom are outstanding, except Su Chen. However, all 4 sons died in the battlefield, leaving only the most useless one, talented but not gifted, smart but not smart. He hangs out with his friends every day and becomes the leader of the 4 dandies in the imperial capital. It simply brought the Su family's face to shame. Dad, it's not like you don't know my talent. Su Chen touched his nose and smiled bitterly. Coupled with the bright red handprints on his face, his expression looked very funny. You. Oh, that's all. Step back. You are not allowed to go to a brothel again. Su Qing's blood surged, and he didn't want to say any more, so he waved his hand, simply out of sight and out of mind. Just leave. Why are you hitting me? Su Chen shrugged indifferently, not caring. If he doesn't go to a brothel, how can he tarnish his reputation and save his life? That's right, Su Chen became a playboy on purpose. The Su family was so outstanding that its four most talented eldest brothers all died unexpectedly on the battlefield. If he exposes his talent, the Dog Emperor will definitely attack him. Rather than being noticed by the Dog Emperor, it is better to pretend to be a playboy and confuse the Dog Emperor. Therefore, no matter what Su Qingtian said, he must go to the brothel. Anyway, he just went to drink, passed by thousands of flowers, not a leaf. Touched his body, and simply chatted with the young lady from the brothel. Until now, his body is still clean. You, rebellious son. Seeing Su Chen like this, Su Qingtian knew that Su Chen turned a deaf ear to his words. The anger that had just subsided suddenly rose up, and he was slapped again. Dad, you. Su Chen covered his face, feeling that his father was stimulated and was taking it out on him. Shut up. Su Qingtian shouted angrily and said with a stern look, the second princess is back and has joined the Star Temple. If you make friends with her, you might be able to solve the problem of not being able to practice. Ruyan is back. Su Chen didn't hear a word of what was said next, and only the three characters Ruyan came to mind. A surge of hatred rose from the bottom of my heart. Chapter 90, Conquer the Villain Ruyi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Dog system, tell Ruyan that I don't love her anymore. Su Chen roared in his heart, the hatred in his eyes almost overflowing from his eyes. Ninth life, Su Chen was forced by the dog system to conquer Ruyan's ninth life, but none of them were successful. In the first life, he had true feelings for Ruyan, and his heart and eyes were full of Ruyan. Almost all the treasures rewarded by the system were given to Ruyan, allowing her to break through to the divine fire realm in just a few decades. He also fully supported Ruyan to ascend to the throne of God, led the Su family's Iron Buddha to sweep the world, suppressed the immortal sect, the demon sect. However, everything he did was ignored by Ruyan. In the end, because of his superior skills, he was directly imprisoned in the sky prison and killed by thunder. In the second life, he asked Ruyan to marry him in return for his kindness. He also devoted himself wholeheartedly to Ruyan, recruiting talents from all over the world, unifying the deserted continent, and governing the Qing Empire into a peaceful and prosperous era. But Ruyan was still extremely indifferent to him, even full of disgust. The third life, the fourth life. Ninth life, no matter how much he paid, Ruyan was like a stone that couldn't be warmed. He was arrogant and looked at him with disgust like a fly, not to mention that he had achieved enlightenment. He didn't even give him an extra glance. He only had the name of an emperor's husband, but no reality of it. For 9 lifetimes, I have licked Ruyan for 9 lifetimes. Su Chen was really tired. In view of the fact that the host has failed 9 times in a row, the system can allow the host to change the strategy target. The cold voice of the system sounded in Su Chen's mind. Seriously? Su Chen's eyes widened and he was ecstatic. Of course, but I can only choose between the two sisters Ruyan and Ruyi. Is it just that the host has thought about it? Once replaced, it cannot be changed back. And this is the last reincarnation. If the host still fails to conquer, this system will completely wipe out the host. Think about it, in this life, let's change Ruyi. Su Chen's heart surged with excitement. He had already had enough of that scumbag Ruyan, who would be a licking dog if not forced by the system. Let Ruyan regret it in this life. Su Chen wanted to see how Ruyan could fight Ruyi without his help. Yes, the system has changed the strategy character for the host. Okay. Su Chen was overjoyed, finally getting rid of Ruyan, a scumbag who had been around for thousands of years. Sir, what do you mean when you're laughing and angry? Su Qingtian took in his expression completely, and couldn't help but panic in his heart. Su Chen wouldn't be slapped twice by him and be beaten stupid, right? Dad, I'm fine. Su Chen put away his thoughts, replied, and left in a hurry. The dog system can change the target of the strategy. Why didn't you tell me earlier? He cursed in his heart. You didn't ask. Furthermore, the host's IQ is low. Even if the target is changed, the host may not be able to successfully conquer it. Su Chen was furious and directly greeted all the 18 generations of the system's ancestors. facts speak louder than words. If it weren't for the host's incompetence, he wouldn't have failed in 9 lifetimes. In addition, a friendly reminder to the host, Lu Ruyi is more difficult to conquer than Lu Ruyan. Su Chen's mentality exploded and he scolded the system for half an hour. He couldn't bear it anymore. The system can say that he is a licker, but if it says that he is mentally retarded, isn't this pure slander? You know, the current Lu Ruyan is a witch that everyone calls for beating, and it is difficult to even get a foothold, not to mention Lu Ruyi, a female villain, is eyeing her. A single word from Lu Ruyi could put Lu Ruyan in danger, let alone plotting the throne to overthrow Lu Ruyi, but he could lead Lu Ruyan to the 9-5 supreme level step by step. The difficulty level can be called a hellish start. Among the 9 reincarnations, who doesn't know that Lu Ruyan's ascension to the throne of God is all due to him? Who doesn't know that he is as smart as a demon and has unparalleled talents? The system smiled and said nothing, too lazy to talk nonsense with Su Chen, and directly issued the task, host, there is a newbie task. Become friends with Lu Ruyi and reach 30 favorability points. Hearing this, Su Chen suddenly smiled confidently. Dog system, you finally did something human. For him, this task is all he needs, because Su Chen knew very well that although Lu Ruyi was a cold and murderous villain, but she has always had a good impression of him, and even tried every means to win him over and prevent him from helping Lu Ruyan. In the 9th reincarnation, in the next 8 lives, whenever he was killed by Lu Ruyi would come to collect his body. It was only after his 2nd life that he realized that Lu Ruyi loved him so much. Fortunately, everything can be repeated. In this life, he will never let Lu Ruyi down again. He swore that he would spend his life protecting Lu Ruyi. As for the destined girl Lu Ruyan, the scumbag girl should die. They've all been reborn. Who's still a bitch? Aren't female villains awesome? Stop. As soon as Su Chen arrived at the gate of the princess mansion, he was stopped by the guard with a look of contempt in his eyes. They have naturally heard of Su Chen's name. Born with a useless body and unable to cultivate, he is the biggest playboy in the imperial capital, and has been engaged to Lu Ruyan since childhood. Now that he heard Lu Ruyan's return, he couldn't wait to come to the door. I'm afraid he just wanted to find Lu Ruyan to hug him, right? I'm looking for Princess Ruyi, please let me know. Su Chen said calmly. He didn't care at all about how several people looked down on others. After all, they had all been reincarnated for 9 lifetimes. He's been through this too many times. What? Several guards were stunned, looking for Lu Ruyi. Su Chen is Lu Ruyan's fiancé. Why would he look for Lu Ruyi? I want to find Princess Ruyi. Su Chen's voice sank. Get lost. Several guards were furious. How noble is Lu Ruyi? How can a useless playboy see her whenever he wants? Boom! Su Chen's face darkened instantly, and a majestic and domineering aura was revealed, which made several people pale and sweat. Several people looked at Su Chen in disbelief. As the gatekeepers of the princess's mansion, they had seen too many big figures, but no one had Su Chen's aura. If they didn't know that Su Chen was a useless playboy, they would believe that Su Chen was the emperor. I have something to do with Princess Ruyi. If you don't report it, you will bear the consequences. Su Chen said coldly. Get lost! A fierce shout came from the mansion, containing terrifying power, and directly blasted Su Chen, who was standing proudly, away. In mid-air, he spit out a mouthful of blood. Damn! Su Chen cursed inwardly. He came here with full confidence, but he couldn't even get through the gate. These dog things who look down on others, when they see Lu Ruyi, he will not let any of them go. But how can I see Lu Ruyi? Su Chen immediately called the system. Dog system, do you have a way for me to see Lu Ruyi? Didn't you say that you are nearly as smart as a demon and have unparalleled talent? Why do you have to find him even to see someone? This is the host's business, not within the system's responsibility. Useless dog system. Su Chen cursed, lying on the ground frowning and thinking, Lu Ruyi's status is too noble. As long as she doesn't want to see him, even if his father shows up, he can't see her. But he is confident that as long as Lu Ruyi hears his name, she will definitely come out to greet him, but the problem is that no one has notified him. Su-yi, use your power to transmit sound immediately. Su Chen said to the air. The dark guards hiding in the dark. No. He refused directly. It would be fine if he did something else, but transmitting sound is equivalent to despising Lu Ruyi. If the Su family offends Lu Ruyi, they will be skinned alive. Su Chen looked ugly. He never expected that he would be stopped by the guards. How could he attack if he couldn't even see the person? Young master, Princess Ruyi is going to receive Gu Qing, a true disciple of the Star Temple today. It is not appropriate to disturb her. Let's come back another day. He persuaded. Gu Qing. Su Chen suddenly remembered that Lu Ruyan had joined the Star Temple. How is this different from the previous 9 lives? He had never heard of the Star Temple, let alone who Gu Qing was. Moreover, according to the memory of the 9 reincarnations, Lu Ruyan returned to the imperial capital 2 years later. Damn it, I was so busy arguing with the dog system that I forgot such an important thing. Dog system, come out and explain what's going on. Su Chen cursed in his heart. Host, this is not within the scope of the system's responsibility. Rubbish system. Su Chen felt that the system was simply useless. At the same time, he suddenly thought that Lu Ruyan had never accepted him. Could it be that she had always loved Gu Qing?